So lads, I'm going to give you the raw sauce today whilst I sip this coffee. Americano, beautiful. If you are one of those guys right now that wants the glitz and the glam, the dopamine fix for your day, thinking you're being productive watching a YouTube video that might or might not educate you, this isn't for you. You're not going to get any of those flashy pop-ups or anything like that. I'm just going to give you the raw sauce, right? Because see, if you're a guy right now that wants the lean aesthetic physique, 8% fat, bolder shoulders, you want to be a high value man, you want to look like a machine, operate like an athlete, and just look absolutely incredible, I'm going to run through the top non-negotiables that you need to be doing in 2025 to actually achieve that level of success. And the thing is, the cruel reality behind all of this, guys, which you might be experiencing already, is that most guys will never actually build a good physique. They just won't. Not because they don't train hard, but it's because they actually lack the systems and frameworks. So I want to make sure today in this video that I give away everything that I now know, the 5 most important things I would recommend you start doing today to advance your progress, your physique, your mindset, and how simple this can literally be when it comes to achieving world-class results. So let's hop in. So first and foremost, I want to speak about strength training, right? Very, very simple. You guys might be rocking up to the gym, training like a bodybuilder, watching all these enhanced athletes on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and trying to run a carbon copy split of what they're currently doing. But truth be told, these guys can recover better. These guys are built for the sport. These guys are, on anabolic steroids, and these guys generally live and breathe this stuff for a living. But if you're just your average guy, let's say, doing well in business, got a bit of money, got a mid physique, and you want to find the simplest way on how to actually build an incredible looking body very, very quickly, then what I would recommend you focus on is zooming out and then zooming in, and then looking at your physique and thinking, right, if I was to look the best, right, and I'm talking about aesthetics here, if I was to look the best, what would have to be true, right? First and foremost, your delts, your shoulders probably would need to be jacked, your traps, your upper chest, you'd need to have a tight waist, thick vascular arms, nice hamstrings and quads, and quite shapely calves. So you want to obviously think full body here. Full body needs the focus, but where guys go wrong is they put a lot of emphasis into their chest, and they end up almost having like a boob-like look when it comes to their chest, and it's not that attractive. It might be attractive to another man, but to a woman, not so much. The real pleasure muscles here, the real muscles that the girls like, right? Thick side delts, traps, nice shelf-like upper chest. So we want to put a lot of the focus into that, and we don't want to do it in the traditional bodybuilding sense, like a push, a pull, a legs, or a chest day, a back day. I've been running this new method 4 days a week, and it's full body. It's working extremely well. I'm doing, 2 sets of 6 to 8 reps, one warm up, one kind of feeder set, but I'm going to absolute town on the 6 to 8 reps, looking to fail around about 6 reps, focusing on movements like my squat, my incline bench press, my military press, weighted dips and chin-ups, and then your seated dumbbell shoulder presses, like the real main compounds, the real bread and butter movements, right? And if you stay around for this video and you watch it this far, if you click one of the links below, I'll give you access to a free training plan, very similar to what I'm working with right now. You can hit me up on Instagram, I'll drop over on that as well. But 4 days a week, guys, 4 days a week focusing on these heavy compound lifts. The thing is, why it's only 4 days a week and it's one on, one off, this is going to allow you to actually recover properly. You're not doing any silly junk volume. You're not doing any, fluff work, we'll call it, which is only going to lead to more fatigue, more stress, higher need for, more fucking food, which again, we'll get to that when it comes to the macro strategy. A lot of guys are going in and doing way too much volume, demanding way too much of themselves for a lackluster result, and burning themselves out, and they leave the gym and what happens is they have this massive hunger spike, and they have to eat so much. I struggled with this for a long time. I'd train so fucking hard, so fucking intensely, try lose body fat at the same time, and then I'd always binge in my diet because I was just demanding too much of my body, especially being natural. You don't grow in the gym, guys. You grow when you're outside the gym. So if you can work with high intent, minimal viable dose, strength training with that kind of aesthetic bodybuilding approach, with minimizing all the junk volume, all the silly unintentional work that is just non-required, you're going to recover faster, build tissue faster, improve your testosterone a hell of a lot more, manage your fatigue, and allow yourself to control your appetite so much more. And the cool thing about this is, because it's a day on, day off, you can be very flexible with when you get your workouts in a given week. And the sessions, weight sessions, they're only lasting about 45 minutes. So everyone does have between the 3 and 4 hours per week to train. So it's never going to come down to, I don't have the time, I don't have the energy. It's like, you will when you follow this split, guys, trust me. And on the days off, the 3 off days, we're going to be performing some form of like zone 2 to zone 4 cardio, which will be either tempo runs, long, slow, sexy, steady runs, or even just accumulating, some zone 1 really slow cycling cardio. And what this is doing, this kind of this low intensity steady state, is keeping the demand for food lower, right? So especially if you're trying to diet down, shift the fat, get lean, and reveal the muscle that you're building, you don't want to be battering yourself too much, because all that's going to do is ramp up the appetite, which is going to lead you to binging and going off plan. So we want to find that kind of Goldilocks zone, that sweet spot. And that's where the zone 2 to 4 cardio comes in. A little bit of zone 1 now and again. We can talk about that as the content progresses here in this video, but you want to keep your cardio like moderate to light intense. And that's just going to allow you to get fitter, improve your, respiratory system, heart and lungs, improve blood flow, cognitive function, and just longevity overall. So that's the kind of training component. And a weekly split would probably look like, on a Monday, you do like military press, RDLs, weighted dips, weighted chin-ups, a side lateral raise, a face pull, and a bicep curl. All one warm-up set, 2 hard working sets, for all of them going to complete failure. You dress, the following day you'd maybe grab a couple of miles out in the trails, or you go cycle or something. The day after that you crush legs. I want you guys to keep leg days to 1 day. So this is when you can hit squats, deadlifts, extensions, hamstring curls, calf raises, all that kind of stuff. And we don't really want to have big, overly jacked bodybuilder legs. We want tight, lean, thick, athletic legs that look great in trousers, because when they're overly expanded and way too thick, it just looks silly. It makes your dick look smaller too, guys. That's one thing to remember. So with that being said, leg day once per week, but hard, intense, enough you can recover from, then lean into other aspects of your training without that negative equity that's built up when you train yourself way too hard and you're walking like John Wayne for a few days. Then following on from that, the following workout would probably be, your incline bench press, dumbbell shoulder press, weighted wide grip chin-ups, some form of single arm dumbbell row to work that horizontal pull, more tricep focused work, and again side lateral raises and cable face pulls, because you want to be developing the side delt, the rear delt as much as possible, building the thickness through the traps, and just going as heavy as you possibly can for that 6 to 8 rep range. And over time, that's 3 workouts in, you're going to have one extra one, which is it even essential? Probably not. You obviously can get some more running done. You can maybe crush a long run or something, 10 to 20 kilometers or something, whatever. And it's not going to tax you too much, just slow and sexy. And then you can probably move into the final workout of a week and think, right, what areas do I want to develop that a little bit more, and just add some more volume. But if you're hitting weighted chin-ups, dips, military press, squats, bench and deadlifts through the week, there's not really much need for more at this stage, especially if you're peppering a bit of arms, a bit of side delts every other day as well. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. And then for like core work and stuff, again, low volume for the abs, you know, something for the obliques, something for the lower abs, weighted preferably, working at the 8 rep range. Quality over quantity will always win, and that's what I'm feeling, especially now getting closer to 30. I've found that lowering the volume, working more intense with more intent has been paying off massively for me personally. Macronutrient strategy then, guys, this one is, you know, absolutely huge. It's about mastering consistency here. So what I actually do, right, especially if we're trying to have that lean 8% fat athletic physique, we sip of coffee here, what you want to be focusing on, right, is knowing your macros first and foremost. Obviously calories in, calories out, all super important. And you want to know this, guys, when it comes to losing fat. The first 3 weeks of any quote-unquote diet is going to be the hardest. That's about nailing the consistency with sticking to it, right? But you're going to get to a point where you want to make this easy and more of a lifestyle, more of a year-round thing, so you can hold and maintain that body fat percentage, which is going to be crucial if you want to live life as a 1% man. I truly do believe that. So what I do is I work out my calories, you know, anywhere between, you know, 1 to 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight, you know, 20 to 30% of my total calories coming from fats, the rest with carbs. But what I will do, guys, is I track my calories on MyFitnessPal. I pre-plan my food the night before for the following day, so it's all laid out for me. And I actually start with the end in mind. This is a really interesting one which a lot of guys struggle with. They try do this overly restrictive clean eating approach or some form of fad or strategy, whether it be carnivore, keto, paleo, whatever, which is fine, which is cool, whatever floats your boat. But I honestly believe for a guy that wants a really cool lifestyle and to make this honestly idiot proof and really sustainable, what I've started doing is I've started tracking the snack that I'm going to have first, right? So I've been having one of those Magnum ice cream lollies every night and a Kit Kat every night. So 500 of my calories from a day, anywhere between the kind of 350 to 500 calories of my diet from the day is going to be junk. It's just going to be straight up junk food. I enjoy eating that in the evening. It feels incredible. It means I can satiate that sweet tooth. I don't feel like I need to binge, or I don't really crave anything because I'm satisfying the craving every single day. Rather than holding back like an elastic band ready to get pung and pulled, I can actually, you know, allow myself to have what I need to have rather than feel it's a restriction, you know. But then the other part of my diet, the kind of 80%, 70% we'll call it, is very simple, single ingredient whole foods. You know, I choose a couple of fruits that I like, whether it be apples, bananas. Started adding more peppers into my diet recently as well, which I'm enjoying. Watermelon, melon, that kind of stuff, berries, you know, have them in for micronutrients. But yeah, it's all steak, really lean cut steak, flank steak, topside steak, chicken breast, whole eggs, rye bread or sourdough bread, rice or potatoes. And then for like more dairy focused produce I should say, it's all coming from things like kefir or kefir, some people may call it, or it's coming from just Greek yogurt, like a low fat Greek yogurt, and I build my diet up around that. So my diet could look like in a day, like 4 whole eggs with some Parmesan cheese in the morning, a wee side of fruit and some rye bread, beautiful. Later in the day I might have, you know, Greek yogurt and kefir with some muesli, some fruit and some whey protein mixed in like a Greek yogurt bowl. Later in the day, a lot of steak, a lot of chicken, a lot of potatoes or some rice. And then in the evening, I have whatever I fancy. I get the Magnum in, I get a cookie. If I'm out with the guys, I might have a drink if that's something I fancy having now and again. But I have that more flexible approach, and guys, I've been getting really good results doing this. I'm getting leaner by the day, energy's up, I don't have that diet fatigue, that accumulation fatigue from the training all the time. I can do something every day and I can stick to it every day, and that's working really well for me. So habit number 3 is going to be your belief systems, right? You've got to believe you're the guy now, right? If you want to have a level of success with your health, well-being, fitness, business, life, think about what would be the character traits, the actions, the habits of the guy who has it already. And when I deep this, guys, when I think about this, I always think, right, he would be able to live a flexible lifestyle. He's not training like a bodybuilder. He's fit, he's functional, he's not overly buffed up, he's not wee either, he's super strong. He's got one of those physiques that if he takes his t-shirt off, he turns head straight away because he's got the midsection on point, the delts, the upper back. He just looks great, athletic, cover model shape. I think about all the things I don't want and the things I do want. The things I don't want, I don't do, simply. The things I do want, I do. And it's like, the life I want to live, it's like, yeah, I would be allowed a cookie. I would be allowed a ice cream, a beer. I would be allowed these things if I wanted these things, and I factor them in, because the consistency component of the belief system far outweighs the negative belief system, which would be, I can't have this. Do you get where I'm coming from with this? And it comes very full circle when you can start living and thinking this way, because you remove the importance from trying to be perfect, play a longer game. Like even my partner, Amy, she's been doing very similar to me. She's lost like 17 pounds in the last 6-7 months. Slow and steady, but she's looking great because she's now adopted a philosophy and a strategy that allows her to live life on her own terms, the same way as I have for myself, and the same way I would do for my clients. And that's what we do. We cultivate these plans, these programs that are just super sustainable, super easy to, embed into the lifestyle. If you want to go hard, you can go hard, you can get rapid results. If you want to take your time, build the strategy, the systems, and get super strong, fit, improve your testosterone, and have a flexible, fun lifestyle where you don't feel restricted, that's the kind of belief system you have to live and learn. Because a lot of people think if you're trying to get in shape, it must suck. You must suffer your way to success. I don't believe in that. I don't think you should. I think there's a little bit of, challenge you should go through. But with me now, I've been doing this for 10 years. I now have a little bit more awareness than I once did when I started, you should say that. And I do now believe that when you now have that flow in place, and you don't feel like anything's missing, and you're in complete autonomy, control with your diet, your training, your energy management, your inflammation management as well, so you're not all puffed up and aching and loads of pain all the time, your body responds very well because you're less stressed, because you now believe like this is the right way to do it. And when you start adopting this philosophy, you're going to notice that you just tighten up straight away, you feel healthy, and you start almost behaving your way into the success in which the ideal you would have, because you're now living in alignment. A lot of people try to change their life or become someone else with the same level of thinking that got them into the bad spot initially. Whereas if you can just change your belief system and your mindset to become the person you need to be now and live the way in which he would live now, then you'll get what he has now. Simple as that. Habit number 4, guys, this one, AM and PM priming. So I wake up every single morning nice and early, between 3:30 in the morning, 5 a.m. I use that time in the morning to create assumptions for myself, assumptions over the life I'm going to be living, the things that I have, the physique, the health, the energy. If this is not really businessy related for you guys, you can make it all around who you want to become, but you need to get crystal clear on who it is you want to be on a morning every single day. Very similar to what I said about belief systems, but on a morning, writing down who you are, what you tolerate, what you believe to be true, assuming that the life, the health, the body, the supplements, the training, the routine, everything that you're doing is working. Because when you assume that your strategy, your philosophy is now working, and this is what we do for guys when we sit them down for their roadmap call, is run through like what would have to be true for you to become that guy now. And we build this philosophy, this mindset for them that they can lean into in a morning. It's like a journaling, visual, and kind of audio process You know, it's like you gotta picture it, you gotta write it, you gotta listen to it, rewire, reprogram that subconscious mind to believe that what you're now doing is right, and it can be done in the present to override the conscious thoughts of this won't work for me. And that puts you in a great spot to tackle the day, you know, and really elevates your state and your frequency. And then in the evening we have the PM wind down, or PM priming you could call it, which is essentially like your kind of biohacking daily end of day debrief, which is incredible for down regulating stress, cortisol, getting your mind right, leaving today is today, so you can step into tomorrow with a new mindset and utilize that day one philosophy and mindset, you know. And you can end the day on a high knowing that you've been the very best version of yourself, and you can reflect on it, the wins, the struggles, the setbacks, because when it comes to building a really, really good physique, guys, it generally comes down to the level of awareness you have, you know. If you are hyper aware over how you look, how you feel, your daily weigh-ins, your food logging and tracking accuracy, your training performance, are you going too hard, you're going too easy, where's the sweet spot? Again, the Goldilocks zone is what we're kind of looking to operate from, because you're going to get to a point where you get so hyper aware that then you can almost like continue refining and making it easier and easier and easier, and removing importance from any outcome or goal. Because one, you're crystal clear on who you now need to be based on the new belief systems, the strategy and structure for the nutrition and the training. Your morning habits are aligned, your evening habits are aligned, and then you can just start operating through a process which over time just gets better and better and better, because you're removing all the things that previously would have not served you, because you're becoming the guy you've always wanted to be through these kind of bookshelf habits at the start and the end of your day, which allow you to correlate energy, down-regulate your nervous system, and control your state on a day-to-day basis, which I find really, really useful for me personally. And a lot of our guys, especially in the elite programs, tend to do this with a lot of like intention behind it, and it helps them massively continue staying on edge, on their toes, and making like really good progress time and time again. So the last habit here is your list. So low intensity, steady state. Okay, wee sip of coffee here, guys. 12 to 15k steps a day. If you're a high performance guy, you run a business, you're busy, you might look at that as a long task, right? But it's only 10 to 9 in the morning. I've done 10k steps already today. When you get up to between 12 and 15k steps per day, you will be a fat burning machine. You will be a furnace, because steps are probably the only form of cardio which is, one, super low impact, but two, does not increase your appetite. This has probably been one of the kind of subtle underlying tones throughout this. When it comes to dropping fat, getting shredded, and having that athletic physique, that cover model shape, you don't want to be hungry. The hungrier you are, the harder this will be. So when you're dieting, guys, steps are your key, steps are your king. It's going to allow you to regulate cortisol, flush inflammation, drop body fat, expend calories, partition any of the food you're eating, especially if you're having bigger meals running this approach. Because for me personally, I'm like running a slight fast on a morning. I'll have, you know, one of these soda waters, some electrolytes, a black coffee, and not really eat till after my run, which, you know, I done this morning, which was a 6.5 kilometer easy paced jog, listening to an audiobook, just moving and grooving, feeling good. So that accumulates steps as well. And then pre-training, I'll get some food in, you know, similar to what I said, the eggs, the rye bread, stuff like that, some fruit, just a basic meal, about 600-700 calories. And then from there, guys, it's like when you're doing these steps, doing these walks for the day, staying active, you're just allowing your body to get rid of what it doesn't need anymore, which is the body fat, without cranking up that need for extra calories, which I find to, you know, be super useful, super helpful when it comes to being successful with your fat loss approaches. So I know this all sounds extremely simple, this stuff, guys, but there is logic behind it. The real philosophy for you guys to move forward with in 2025 is less is more, essentially. You can really find a solution to simplify all of these, you know, results in which you've always wanted by dumbing it down, making it almost idiot proof, frictionless, you could call it. 4 weight sessions a week, a little bit of steady state cardio, eating what you love every single day, staying on your calories, moving more, having a solid belief system and an AM and PM routine, along with just moving more through the day. Like what could be so hard about doing those 5 things for the rest of your life? I'm not sure. And the results that not only I'm getting, my partner's getting, my clients are getting following the blueprints like this are above and beyond, above and beyond. So quite a long one, more of an educational video today, guys. I'm going to love you and leave you for the time being. Thanks for tuning in for this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Let's go.